Ramadan, now and forever.
Yes, sir, this is our Ramadan edition of the Organic Breeze. And before we get to Rafeek Hassen, who is the president of IFRI, a world-class scholar in comparative religion, motivational speaker, talk show host, and mashallah, spiritual guide also. Let me read this correspondence that has come through. It says, CI Radio, Shafa'at on the Breeze, a topic for pharmacist Rafeek Hassen. Jazakallah khairun for superb radio content and value. I've been reading a lot of Rumi quotes on images. It seems he and many men from his era and generation wore very huge headgear. To us it looks odd. Maybe in their times it was normal. Was there a purpose and reason for this headgear? Why do scholars and mystics no longer wear this headgear? Don't get me wrong. I have utmost respect for Rumi and scholars of that time. I just am thinking, what was that headgear and why was it heavy or light? I will appreciate your response. May you both be richly blessed and rewarded in both worlds. Ameen. Wassalam. Hamza in Cape Town. Rafeek Hassen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And tell me how you're doing this fine, beautiful Saturday morning in Ramadan.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. With your du'as and everyone's du'as and Allah's fazl karam, we are well.
Well, Rafeek, the headgear, to wear or not to wear? What's your take? You have the next 10 minutes. Bismillah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalam khataman nabeen wa ba'd. Yeah, I think it's a good question also. You know, the beauty thing, brother, we are in the month of Ramadan, right? And you cannot dissociate Ramadan from Quran, because Quran came down in this blessed month of Ramadan. So everything the Quran answers, so even when it comes to the headgear, answer has to be in the Quran. So, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said when he sent the Quran, you know, Shahru Ramadan alladhi unzila fihi al-Quran, hudan lin-nas wa bayyinatin min al-huda wal-furqan. So not only is it the book of guidance, but it has got clear, you know, it's got clear answers. It's got the answers that we're looking for. So is there something about the headgear or apparel? Well, let's go into it. Let's begin by, you know, at the beginning with in terms of the fiqh rules from the scholars and the fuqaha. It's not compulsory, this headgear, you know, it's not, let's start off with, it's not compulsory, right, to wear it. So that's the beginning, right? It's a choice. So let's start with that. However, let's look into some of the other rulings. I want to start with a beautiful, what about Salah now? There are some people who will say, okay, I won't wear a, you know, we can call it a topi, you know, in the Middle East, you know, they call it a taqiyya, you know, that's the cap, they call it a taqiyya. You'll find that in other places, in Indonesia, they call it a peki, right? Central Asia, they call it a dopa. Now, whatever it is, the topi, you know, the peki, yeah, it's a head covering, right? You wear like a head cap. And there are two, as I said, I started off by saying it's not compulsory for a man to wear it. It's compulsory for a woman when she goes, according to the Sharia. But many people, when it comes to Salah, when it comes to namaz time, you know, they keep the topi in the pocket, you know, or the peki or the dopa, they take it out for the Salah and put it on Salah time. And then after Salah, they come out from the masjid and they put it away again. So that's another situation that's carrying on. So what is it now? You know, now you're talking about Maulana Rumi, rahmatullahi alayhi, and, you know, that he's had that long hair. And, you know, he belonged to the Sufi tradition, right? The Mehleva Sufi tradition. Now, before we go to Maulana Rumi's, rahmatullahi, topi, that long, you know, very high, you know, looking odd for the normal person, even for the normal Muslim, they don't wear it like that when they make salah. Everyone just wears one that just covers the head, a flat one that just covers the head. But before I go to that, you must understand that traditionally, according to the culture of the area, Brother Shafar, Muslim men, now that we spoke about that, the headgear, the topi or the takia, every country had its own style. Am I right? Now we look at the Moroccan face, that red lal topi wala, right? It's become world famous. That's not unique to Morocco. They sort of, it was a Moroccan culture. You find the Arabs, what the Arabs wear, that red, they took that red small scarf and they put that black thing over it to cover it. It's called a ghutra, right? Now, that's an Arab culture. They're covering their head, but they'll take like a hanky, a little bigger hanky, and they put a black ring thing over the head, and for them, that's the head covering. You get what I'm saying, Rashad? So that's a different way. In the Uyghur Muslims, right, in China, they call it a dopa. It is a tight skull cap, right, or a skull cap worn by them. So what I'm getting at now, even before we go into the Sufi tradition, just normal Muslims, based on their cultural and the areas from which they come from, each one has its own traditional headgear for men, which has left a stamp. It has now become known. We can make them out when they wear those caps, those head covers. That's from Morocco. That's from Saudi. That guy is from Central Asia. He's from China. He's a Uyghur Muslim, and so. The turban is another covering. There's many cultures. The turban is, like for instance, in Afghanistan. Turban is very popular as a cultural thing. Although Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam himself used to wear a turban, but from a Sharia point of view, what the scholars are saying is, yes, you don't have to wear it. It was because even the non-Muslims, those who were still kuffar in Arabia, used to wear the turban. And the turban has a big significance in terms of the climate, the desert storm. They take it out. It's a long cloth. They can close the mouth and the face to guard them from the dust and in the desert when it starts. So it has multi-purpose. So it's for the environment, for the climate, for the area. Having said that, Brother Shafar, the Sufis also then, if there is so many variations in the kind of topi that Muslims are wearing traditionally, then the Sufi traditions also have it. They have the different kinds of topis. You find our Sufi Sahib, Rahmatullahi, when he came here, he's following what we call the Chishti Habibia, branch of Sufism. And he's got it not so high, but it's just a little higher, a topi he used to wear. But it's not a normal flat, but it's got a slightly raised, conical, slightly raised. And then there's very big variations of that. Some have a topi with 4 corners on it on the top. I'm talking about Sufi tradition. All this is allowed. All this is choices. There's no prohibition on it. Now, I want to quote one verse as we're ending up, Brother Stefan. In the Quran, in chapter 51, verse 56, listen what Allah says. In the Quran now, Ya Bani Adam, khuzu zinatakum inda kulli masjidin. Oh, children of Adam. Yeah, Allah is not all Muslims now. Ya Bani Adam. Oh, you children of Adam. Khuzu zinatakum inda kulli masjidin. Put your beautiful apparel on when you want to make sajda, when you want to make salah, when you want to enter a masjid or you want to make your salah. Adorn yourself with your beautiful, zinat. The word here is used zinat, Brother Safar, which means have a beautiful one. Don't put just a plain topi on or a plain clothes on. Adorn yourself. Make it look smart. Isn't it? You look smart for the occasion. You go to a wedding, you want to look smart. People dress smart for the occasion, isn't it? So Allah says, you are coming now because you are going to appear in public. But now you're coming to make salah in front of your Creator. You are having an audience with your Creator, not an audience with some public way in a function and you want to dress smart. So Allah says, put on your best attire when you come before me to pray for me. Zinata, your apparel. Quran is ordering this. So, that is why people adorn themselves. So it is allowed, but the details have been left out, Brother Shafar. So I think, I hope this clarifies the matter. It's a matter of choice at the end, and Allah has left it open. And where Allah has left it open, well, it's your choice. He has given us the freedom.
Well, Rafeek, well answered there. But your Pathan blood you got there too. I know you. You got a Pathan blood. You're a tall man. You're a strong man, mashallah. Did I see you with the Afghani hat? Because my trademark is, hey, chef, hey, we know your trademark.
Yes.
You know, put that Afghani. I'm sure I saw you a few times with that, Rafeek. How often you put your Afghani hats on?
There we go. You can easily make out an Afghani. I know you got a smart one too, Brother Shafar. So what I'm saying is, this is just what I'm saying. I was in December in Palestine, and believe it or not, till now in Palestine, people are wearing an Afghan hat, a Moroccan fez, the red lal topi one. Now it's across the Muslim world. People have adopted the various topis, the various headgears. And so in Sufi tradition, just like in normal Muslims who are just not belong to any Sufi tradition, like every soccer team has its gear. Am I right? They have the colors. All the soccer teams, cricket teams have their own gear. All the Sufis who belong to certain different clubs, we call it tariqah, they have their own gear, Brother Shafar. So, yes, the Afghans have their own. You can make out a Pathan Afghan, as you say.
Well, Ahmed Deedat, I remember there was a smart aleck where he came up to Deedat. He says, Islam is not in your attire, but Islam is in your heart. So Ahmed Deedat looked at him and he says, if the label shows your intent, wear it. So he says, put your topi on, be proud about it, show, because we are a minority in this country. By us all putting our topis on, people will say, hey, look at them, man, Muslim, Muslim, Muslim. So wear it. I mean, the Ahmed Deedat was way ahead of his time with hikmah too, Rafeek.
Yes, definitely. And we had the freedom to do it, you see, because even during apartheid, they allowed us the practice of our faith. Today, unfortunately, the tables are turned, Brother Shafar. Many countries, when you can see what's going on. The moment they identify you as a Muslim, you become a target. So people now, they don't want to show the label in countries where they're being persecuted, and it is understandable because you become an object of ridicule, or you're going to be targeted because of the Islamophobia that is going. So, it's a two-way thing, and it applies in its context. When Sheikh Deedat Rahimullah said that, he was absolutely right when he said that, because it was a time when we allowed that, and our identity, was important at that time. However, I want to give the flip side of that, Brother Shafat, if you allow me. On the other hand, when you're wearing your topi, or if you've got a Muslim identity gear on you, please make sure you're behaving like a Muslim. Please make sure you're not doing all wrong things, because then the people say, you see that Muslim, look what he is doing. So it's it's a double-edged sword, If you want to wear a Muslim identity, then please, you must obey the Muslim laws, the Sharia, and give the example of a good Muslim. Because then your punishment will be double, because you are bringing Islam and Muslims to disrepute, wearing a badge of a Muslim and doing what is un-Islamic.
Brilliant indeed, Rafeek. Shiraz Randri is listening to you, and he's saying, really enjoying the show, Brother Shafaat Bhaijan Shafaat and Bhaijan Rafeek Hassen. Both of you are dear to me. Jazakallah khair for that. Rafeek, you have a, mashallah, beautiful, lovely day ahead. We'll talk to you soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.